Hello, welcome to Trisha's Cards and Crafts, and I'm Trisha, and today I'm going to be doing some alternative cards to these from the kit that I made last week. It won't. I've already done some preparation, so hopefully everything will be straightforward-ish. But we'll use these as sort of a guide, and then we'll carry on from there and do something slightly different with these. Okay, so the first one, I've got some cards already cut out, so this one is going to be one of these. I can still use, I'm going to use the bases, but I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm going to use some different, I've got some card blanks ready to go. So I've got a card blank that I've cut out ready. Now these are a different shape and they're slightly different colour. I'm going to cut them in half, and I'm going to trim them down slightly because they're going to be narrower, because they're half of an A4 sheet and folded in half. So I've cut these lengthways and I've cut the others widthways. So we'll carry on with this now. I'm going to use my mini I just fold it out like this. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm sorry about yesterday. I had a bit of some things cropped up, so I couldn't make it yesterday, but hopefully everything it's not sorted, but it's getting there. But I've got enough time hopefully to do this live with you. I might get interrupted, and if I do I might have to go, but other than that hopefully I'll be able to manage to sort today out. Right, so what I've done, I'm cutting this up so I'll be able to make 2 cards from just the one base. Also, I've used the envelopes, so instead of having the envelopes like this, I've cut them up. I cut across here, I've cut that off and straightened the edges. I've then cut around the outside of the envelope, just a tiny strip, and then I've also cut the sides of the envelopes off as well. So what I've been left with are all of these strips. Get rid of that and that. So I've got, those are the envelope backs that you fold the edge down onto. So it's that side or this side. So we could use the cream side or the basic beige. Then these are the strips from the top flap that fold over. So you've got these, and these have got the printed stars on, and then these are the insides of the fronts of the card, of the envelopes, and they've just got stars at the top, so I thought we could use those as well. So we've got some extra bits and pieces to use on the cards as well. So for some of the alternatives I'll try and do something similar to what was being done before, and for the others I'm going to use some other bits and pieces to make those with. So, but what I thought to do with these is just to sort of step them up a little bit. So I'm going to use the same pieces for the first one, and then I'll do an alternative one with different pieces. So I've got this, I've got my front card as well, which I can put on the front, so that will go on here. I might just use, rather than using the cord, the twine, I might keep that. Actually, for the first ones I might just use the same thing, and then with the next versions I'll use some of this ribbon instead, just to give it a bit of difference. I've got, this is the gold striped ribbon, but I've also got some of this iridescent, I think it's iridescent ribbon as well. It's the same size, but I just thought that might work instead of using the twine on the others, so might use those. Right, so for this one I will, on the back I will stick a little bit of this, and this time I'm just going to use some tear and tape because I can, and I want to be a little bit quicker if I can, because I don't know when I might need to leave, I'm afraid. So I'm going to put 3 times around the card, cut that, put some more twine, put some more double-sided tape on the back, there, and this is instead of using the I'll put that there as well, instead of using the glue dots, so I just use some of the double-sided tape because it doesn't come in the kit, but because I'm doing some alternatives, I can use that. I'm going to use for the alternative cards, not these, but the next ones I make, the second of the 2 cards, I'm going to change the colours slightly. I'm using, I didn't have Lost Lagoon 2-tone card, but I do have some Summer Splash, so I'm going to, it's going to be, the others are going to be a bit brighter. So this will go on the front here, and I'm going to put this flat. I don't know, no, I'll use this one. Hopefully there's enough in here. So I'm going to put this one down flat, put some over the twine as well. Hopefully that will then help it to stay in place. There we go, that should be enough. And put this down here. Before I put this piece down, I'm going to use some of the Pretty in Pink. Now this piece here is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to cut a piece of Pretty in Pink to be 3 by 4. So 3 by 4. There we go. Got that piece there another time. I'm going to put that behind this piece. So that's going to go behind there like that, just to step it up a little bit and make it a little bit different. So I'm going to stick this again on flat onto here. There we go. Okay, then we'll stamp some of the stars, if I can, there it is, onto here. Just put this to one side for a second. Whoops. And I'm going to use Lost Lagoon on this one because this one is the same. I'll use the same colours for this one. So we'll put some stars on here. So I'm not going to press too much, so we're just going to do this will be enough. There we go. So that's going to go behind the label. We need the label, which is over here, and again we'll use the Sending Joy this one. I've mounted all my stamps again like I did, not my stamps, yeah, my stamps again. Try and get that central. Oops, there we go. So that's ready to go. I think I should have put it further down, but never mind. We've got the baubles, whoops, which can go on the back. So we can attach that to the back of there again, like that. And it doesn't matter if it comes down a little bit further. So I might, again, just for speed, add this with some double-sided tape. No, the other way round. There. I'm not going to bother taking the tape off because I'm going to put some oops, I will try and put some dimensionals on the back. Oh, not 3 all stuck together. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Hopefully you can, I think you should be able to see what I'm doing. And then we'll put this on there like that. And then we'll use some glue dots to put what we got, a flower. 1, 2 of these. We put the pink in front, so we put a glue dot on the back of this one. Turn it slightly so that it's slightly off center. Just give it a little bit of a bend, and we can put our 3 little white dots in the center. 1, whoops, 2, 3. So that's our flower ready. Our little bauble's going to have this star stamp in the middle. Hopefully I'll get it centered better today. Maybe not, I don't know. Whoops. It's slightly below, but it's fine. We'll do a small bow again, if I can. Maybe I'll just try and do a ordinary bow. Come on, you can do this. Come through. Right, whoops, I don't want that end to disappear. There we go, it's better. It's a little bit big. We might make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And I really would like that there, like that. Just trim the ends off, and that can go through the bauble. Oops, didn't want to go through. There we go. Just so that the knot can sit in the middle, so that we know it's going to stay still. And I'm going to use another glue dot on the back to hold it in place and to stick it down. We also want 2 of these. 1, 2, oops, that's a white one. should be another greeny bluey one. There it is. I'm not sure, but I think I've only got one of these. I don't know why. Got one of those, but that'll do. I'll make do with that. So this is going to have to go on top, so I will use the dimensional for this one because this is going to, because I've stamped too high, I need to put this slightly raised at the top, and then we'll put these underneath, not those, we want the blue dots. Put it on the back there. Take the back off. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry, it's been a bit of a week this week. My daughter's come back from Australia, which is great, but she wanted to go to my mum's yesterday to see her because she hasn't seen her for a while. Well, obviously she's been in Australia, and so we went there because she wanted to cook a cooked dinner. My other daughter and her partner came and joined us there as well, so we all had a meal there. And then we had a message then to say that my mother-in-law wasn't very well, so we had to leave there, and instead of coming home we had to take her to the hospital where she still is and probably will be over the weekend. She's just got a nasty chest infection, but because she's got she's got other problems as well, they wanted to keep her in just to be on the safe side. So they weren't sure if the chest pain she was having were due to the coughing, because she's got a nasty chest, or whether it was to do with the cold that she's got. So, or her heart, sorry. And I'll put this over here. There we go. Oops, move that slightly over so we don't cover up the sending joy. So that is very similar to that one. We can mount this now onto the card. Just get rid of the ink a moment before I get my fingers all over it, or into it, or whatever. And I might layer this as well on dimensionals. Not going to be great to go through the post, but I'll try and keep the dimensionals not where they are on. Actually, no, I put that one on flat. That's fine. But I have got a dimensional on the front as well, so hopefully haven't doubled them up. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm waiting for a call, or waiting for my husband to be ready to go back to the hospital, because he was there with her all night last night. They're waiting to admit her to a ward, or onto a ward. So we're just waiting for news for when he needs to go back and when my daughter needs to be picked up, because she's with her grandmother at the moment. So there's my first card. Okay, so they're slightly bigger, but it's fine. And I've got some of the envelopes, the plain envelopes that you get from Stampin' Up as well to go with these. So it's half a sheet of I used half a sheet of the thick basic white for the card base, and then some of the Pretty in Pink two-tone card to go behind that, just to give it, I think it gives a bit more of a lift. I don't know which one you prefer, but I quite like this one. Now for the second one, I've got another piece of this card, and again I'm not going to use the twine this time. I'm going to use this ribbon, and I'll just add this to go behind. This is the iridescent ribbon, And I'll put this. Sorry, I've got a bit of a tickle as well. Yes, my daughter, her auntie came back from Australia on Wednesday on bonfire night, so that was lovely to see her again. Oh dear. I'll just have a quick drink. There we go, sorry. Trim this off. There we go. And then that can go on there like that. And put this down slightly. There we go, that's better. I will take the back off these. Tear and tape, because that'll give it another extra bit of adhesive. Put some on the ribbon to make sure that the ribbon adheres down as well and doesn't move once we've got it in place. Yeah, so it's been one of those weeks this week. There we go. So we've got the texture from the card base, the original card base, and then I'll put this piece again here, and then I'll use a piece of white, ordinary basic white, and I'll cut that down to the 3 3/3 by 2 3/4. So no, the other way around. 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. That gives me more of that. That will go on top of there. I haven't got the little. I could punch some little circles out just to give it the same look as the top of a book, but I haven't got the time. But you could do that if you wanted to. There is a die set that has got like a top of a book like that, but I haven't got that to hand, and I don't want to spend too much time looking around for it. So we've got that part done. We need to stamp this now with the stars again, but like I said, I'm going to change this up. So this one is going to be with the Summer Splash, because I got this on in the two-tone card. Just going to clean that off. There we go. And we'll stamp these stars on here using this. Try not to be too heavy-handed. I go nice and lightly. There we go. It doesn't matter too much if they overlap a little bit, because they're not going to be seen that much anyway. And also we need to now I'm going to use this. I've got some white scrap paper here, and I've got, this is the, oh, I've forgotten what it's called. I'll put it in the I'll put it in the comments below if I can. Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Nope. Oh, this one. sign design pinch. This comes with this stamp set, so I could use this instead of that, but I think I'll carry on. I'll keep going with the Sending Joy, but I'm going to cut this out, and then I'm going to cut it down slightly. So I turn it over usually so you can see. So you just slide that in, make sure it's out. I did that before. I pinched my finger my hand last week with a different punch, but there we go. Right, so I've punched that out, but I'm going to put this Sending Joy, that should be okay, and I'm going to put that, I think I'll turn it upside down, in the middle ish. That's okay. And then I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I need to put this out of the way before I get very messy. There we go. And wipe that out. There we go. Right. The Sending Joy. I'm going to trim this with my trimmer. I'm going to go to there and I'll line that up there. I think that should be about right. Nope, a little bit more of that one. There we go. That's okay. So it's about the same width as the other one. So that can go there. And what I've done, I've got I think it's called the Jar of Joy stamp set. Okay, I put that one. Is that one falling? Down. No. Ready so that I would have them at hand. And they've disappeared. Oh, here it is, the Jar of Joy. I did have it ready. Whoops. This one. And I've used this instead of the baubles that obviously came with it, so that I've got a spare one, so I can actually make double the number of cards that I would have done otherwise. So this one I've stamped. So I've stamped it on some white card with some Memento black ink, and then I coloured them in with some of my Stampin' Blends. I used the Pretty in Pink light, I used the Summer Splash light and the Ivory to do the star, and then I've cut that out, fussy cut it. Here they are. Fussy cut those out, and then I'm going to attach those to the back, so they're so it's going to be hopefully similar to the other card. So we've got that. So we've got this. Oh, here it is. And take that off there. So, because I wanted to make them as similar as possible, but obviously I can't make them the same because I haven't got the same things. So we've got that, which will go on the back of there. And I think I'll use some tear and tape, which is fallen on the floor, to the back of that. So they're going to go on there like that. Use a piece of this tear and tape to go across the back and hold that in place. I don't need all of that. Just tear that a little bit off. So there we go there. So that will be hanging down here. It won't come down as far because they're not the same size, but I use the same sort of colours that I'll be using in the other cards. So I'm going to put that on again with some dimensionals, again, which has gone on the floor. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. So we'll take this off and add it to the card. So this will hang down. Now, I didn't have any more of the foliage that I used on here or the flower. So what I've done, I have an old flower punch. You can use, you don't have to use a flower punch, you can use some dies, you can use whatever you've got. I had a retired flower punch, and what I've done, I punched 2 out of the pink two-tone card, and I put the dark one on the back and the lighter one at the front. I stuck them on with some glue, not a glue dot, but that doesn't matter. And then I added 3 of these tiny iridescent pearls, basic jewels, on top, so that it's not the same, but it's similar. So that will go on the front there. And then I didn't have I could use some pine boughs, because I've got some of those in another set, but I've got these again. I put these out ready. I've got which one is these? Right, these are the pattern tags dies. Whoops, and the one that I used isn't in there. And it doesn't show you, so I've got it here somewhere, because I have kept it out ready. But everything's a little bit, well, it's this is what comes out of it anyway. This is the tag, so it's like that, and I thought I could use some of these pine sort of branches to use on this card instead. So I stamped that out, so I can use that on another card, because you could put that over some white and that will look pretty, because you can cut out the actual tag shape itself and then layer that over the top. So that's what I was going to do with that. These labels I could have used for one of these. That one could do there. They're not the same size as that actually, because these are the sizes of the dies, so that's a bit too big, so that's why I didn't use it in the end. But I did use, because this is the stamp set that goes with it, I think, might not be, but I used these sprigs as well. I'll show you those in a moment. So I've cut some of those out, but I also used one of my foliage punches as well to do some of the other foliage that I might need. So got that stuck down. This is going to go on top. Again, I'm going to use a dimensional for that, but I'm going to try to use the mini dimensionals for this one, if I can see what I've done with them. I did have some here. There they go. I'll put a mini dimensional on the back of this one to raise this one up slightly, because that will go around about there. So instead of these pine branches, this is one, so we can use one, and then I've got another one that's very similar, so we put one on each side there. I haven't got any more of those, so I've punched out again, but I've done these in pink. I've got these, and I'm going to cut some of these down so we can use some of those. So I'll cut this one down, and this one. Cut the bottom leaf off. There we go. So cut those off. Those those can go in the bin. And I'll use those instead of the white. Okay, so they'll go on each side as well. So we'll get these stuck down. Again, I'll use some glue dots for these. I can carry on using these while I've got them. So the green first. And I'm going to use the light side rather than the dark side. I don't have to, but could use either. There's one. And the other one. Oops. Stuck to me instead of where I want it to be. There we go. Let's just put that on there. Take that off. And put that down there. There we go. And then two more. They don't want to stay on there at all. I'll take this one, put it back off there, and put that here. And one on this side. Here we go. There we go. That can go there. So it's similar. It's not the same, but it'll manage to do with that. So we'll add this now to this piece. I might just put another one of those. I might put some extra pearls on this one to cover up my little splodge that I've got down here. So I'll put one down there, one up here, and another one right at the top, just to try and cover my mistake up. So we'll put some Tombow on the back of here. And add that to my piece of pink card. And then add this to the front of my card here with some dimensionals. There we go. So what I could have done is I could have used a piece of this to go instead of that and just cut the rounded edge off, so that would have been just as nice, but obviously I've used the pink now. So we'll put this on top of here like that. So there's our first two cards, and I've got another envelope to match that. So there we go. So it's not the same obviously because I haven't got the same products to be able to use, but it works. I think it looks very similar. Okay, so that's the first one. The next one, oh actually that's the original. So I've got the three, whoops, so I've got that one, that one, so that one's a bit stepped up, and then you've got this one which I've used different products for again. Okay, there we go. So those are my cards ready. So put that one with that. There we go. Right, so now for the second one, which was this one. Now for this one, I'm not going to bother to cut another piece down. I'll just use the piece that I've used, that I've cut the card up from. I'll show you in a second. Right, so this is the next one. Now I'll make this one up again, but instead I'm going to cut this down slightly smaller, not a lot, because then it won't show. I'll use the same pieces, but I might just put a piece of card down here. So I'll show you what I mean in a second, just to brighten it up a bit. I'm going to use the Summer Splash, I think. Oh, I can use a piece of the pink. I'll use the pink because otherwise it might be a bit of a different, yeah. I won't use it for this one. I'll use the pink for this one again. So this time I'm going to use the lighter side. I know it's a bit darker than that, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to just cut or rip a bit of this across there, just to add a bit of texture and a bit of colour. So that's going to go across there like that, just to give it something a little bit different again. So I've got my card base, I've got the piece that I need. No, that's the other one. Where's the... Here it is. No, yes it is. There we go. I've got that piece. And no, I won't. I might use a strip of this behind it. Yeah, that'll fit. So I'm going to put a piece of this just along the side. So this can go along here. So use some of this. So this is the strip from the envelope flap that I cut off. And I'm going to add this right along the edge here. Okay, before I put that one on top there, like that. Okay, so we need to do some stamping on here with our, I use the, what did I do with it? Oh, over here. The Lost Lagoon again, with the snow, or the stars, whichever they are. Put that out of the way a moment. So I need my snow. Here it is, stars. Oh, I keep calling it snow. So we want some towards the top. And we'll bring it down to the bottom. Just I'm turning the paper around instead of the stamp, but that doesn't matter too much. We'll just fill this in. There we go. I think that should be plenty. We've got the Merry Christmas on here, which will go at the top. We've got Merry Christmas. And in the centre ish. There we go. That's okay. And then we have From Our House to Yours on the little narrow green strip, which is here somewhere. There we go, on this strip here. And we want From Our House to Yours. There it is, hiding behind there. So slightly more to this side. There we go. So that will go on there, and this is going to go onto the bottom of here. So we need some glue dots on the back of here. 1, 2, oops, 3. There we go. And take these off. There we go. And then that can come. Oh, I've smudged it. Not good. Move that up a bit. There we go. That'll do. Never mind. I will try something. Don't know. So that's going to go on there. We've put some of the cord around this again. So 3 times. So we've put some tearing tape. Actually, I can use that a little bit. But, oh wait, we want this one towards the middle. Put that there. We wrap it 3 times. 1, 2, whoops, 3. Take it round to the back, and a little bit more tearing tape. There we go. And stick that down there. And cut the excess off. There we go. Do I need, yes I do, I need the little tag somewhere over here. Come on. I've got the bauble but I can't see the tag. Where did the tag go? It was here. I'm not really worried about the tag. Ah, there it is. Found you. So we've got the tag. We need another little bow. Right, so make a little loop, go round and through. Did the same thing as the last one. There we go. So just want a small bow, not a big one. There we go. Cut the ends. Just trim those off. And we've got that to go on there. And we have a little star. No, the one in the circle. There, this one, the small one, to go on here. I haven't bothered to do the little baubles or the little tags on the alternative cards, but I think it's fine without. So we're going to add this to the base here now with some, oh I see, right, so we're going to add this with some dimensionals. One, 2, 3. Now I've got some other ones, so I'm not going to worry about using the edges, but I will use the edges up before I finish. But just for speed, I'm going to carry on using the ones that I've got available. So take the backs of these off. So all the backs of the dimensionals, come on, you can come off. 2, there you go. They're all off now. I'll put this down here, like that. We've got our house and the holly berries. Where's the house? Got the house and need another holly berry. Holly, not holly berry, holly. Piece somewhere, which has disappeared again. So it must be here somewhere. And these two sprigs. Whoops. So we need those two. Those can go. And it's going to be here somewhere. Whoops. Two. Where did it go? Won't have gone very far. They were all there. Oh well. Maybe we'll have to manage with one. That's odd. Sorry. Maybe I'll use a little bit of that as well to go with it. It won't matter. Right, so we're going to add the house to the back of here. So I will use a piece of tearing tape for this. And use some of the mini dimensionals to go on the house roof on there, just to make sure it stays up. And then we have some full-size dimensionals to go on the back of the label. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Take these off. Three. There we go. And add that over the top of there, like that. There you go. And then we put our little sprigs on. So these will go first. Make sure we have the, hopefully you can see the iridescent pieces first. So glue dots. One. It's no good if they stick to my finger. There. Put those on the back. There. One. Over here. One on here. Whoops. Back there. One there. Like that. Put the holly leaf three-dimensional glue dot on the back, and that can go there, and I'll use this little sprig from that label to go there as well, and then add that under there. Oops, there we go. And then the label with my little bow. Hopefully get that through this time. There we go. So that is there, and another glue dot on the back. Whoops, there, like that, and that can go just over there, just to be there. There we go. And then we have 3 of these little pink dots. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. So that's the first one, like this one. So we've just added, oh, and I was going to add this strip as the bottom. That's what I was going to do as well. So I want to cut this to, I should have done that first, but I didn't. So I've just cut that bit off, and I'll use some Tombow on there and use this. Don't think you can see this now, just along the bottom there. So we've got that, great, on there like that. So that's the original, and that's my version that's stepped up a little bit. So I've used a bit of the envelope flap there and some pink, some extra pink there. So that's the difference between those two. So that's done. The second one. Now, I haven't obviously got enough to use another house, but there is a House Builder punch, which is this one here, which is still available, I think. So what I did, I punched this out in with my of the Pretty in Pink, so it stays similar to the one that we've already done, and I just cut some squares out and a rectangle of white card and just stuck those on there. So this is the, I could have just left it like that because that would have probably worked, but I just thought, yeah, we'll use that. And then I just added some windows because I didn't think I'd be able to punch them out very easily, so, or cut them out, so I just used that. So that's the alternative part of that one. I'm going to take this out of the way because I've already got it on my card now. Right, so we've got that part then. We have, instead of those sprigs, I'm going to use some more of the pink, and I've got some green ones. We can use the pink and the green instead of the holly leaves. So I've got, these are the sprigs that I did from the die set that's called Creative Haven Dies. These are a new online exclusive. You can use the foliage punches like this one, or you can use whatever you've got, but I just thought I'd add those to the bottom just to give it a bit more interest. Right, so we've got the mount. I haven't done the edges obviously because I haven't got anything that will cut this type of edge. Probably got a Dyson with it I could find that would do that, but rather than mess about, I've just kept it straight, so it's the same size but it's just straight. And instead of having it green, I could colour this, and I need to cut it down anyway, but I've got a piece of card and I want to cut this down to about there, so it's not too long. And then I just, to fishtail the ends, you just cut up in the middle-ish. Would be better if it was the middle. And then you go in from the side to the centre and the side to the centre. And then you've got your fishtails, or whatever you want to call them. So the banners ends. So that's my piece to match this one here. Okay, so we've got that, so we can stamp those. I'm not going to do a label, so I'm not going to do another one of those. I've got another of the card blanks with the texture on it. Somewhere here. I've got a card blank. So this is basic white again. Those are going to go on there. I've got some, what did I do with the one I cut in half already? 2 seconds. I've used them both, must have done. Right, I'm going to cut this one in half, or actually I'm going to cut it down a bit more than that. So I need to cut this down to about here. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. My mini. So I'll just open this out and I'm going to cut it down. Try that. I think that's enough. It's 3 7/8. I'll do the same on this one. 3 7/8. And what we could do, we could have used this strip to do the narrow label ones as well. So you've then got another piece that you could either use that side or the other side to do the labels as well. So you could just cut this on the crease. And then you've got some more pieces that you can use to do your labels with. Okay, but I'd already cut that one out ready, so that's fine. So we've got that piece. So we've got this one that's going to go there. I might cut it down a little bit more for this one, because I can use another piece of the, that's okay. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more so that we can make this one 3 3/4 there, and some of the, another piece of the flap from the, so that will go behind that. So I could make this one a bit shorter as well. So I'll cut a little bit more off here. There we go. So that's a similar size to the piece that we used here from the set, from the kit. So we've got this one here, and this one will go on the top here. So we'll just put some Tombow on there. I'm sorry if anyone's making any comments. I haven't got my other my iPad up here, so I can't see any comments, I'm afraid, because I'm using my iPhone for film, and then using my other so I haven't got anything else I can use. I'll just cut a bit more off here. To make it a bit shorter. Don't need the full length. So we've got the, even though we haven't got the X's around the outside, we've still got some nice texture here, so we've got that to use instead. Okay, so that is what I'm going to put on there. We need some of the stars to go around the outside with this summer splash. Hopefully I won't get it everywhere this time. So we've got some up here. We're going to put the house over the top here, like that, and then we want some down the bottom. We'll go over to here. There we go. I think that'll be plenty. That's fine. We'll stamp our Merry Christmas on here. Up towards the top again. In the centre. There we go. And then from our house to yours on the other strip. No, I didn't get any on that side, so there, like that. Try not to get it smudged this time. Put this out of the way. There we go. And add this to the bottom here. So some glue dots. 1, 2, 3. Whoops. 1. Oops. 1. 2. 3. There we go. And oops. Add that on top. There. Like that. So that's ready to go on. I think that's okay. Right. So we want some ribbon. I'll use the same ribbon as before. Well, maybe I will. Haven't got the iridescent ribbon. What did I do with it? I've done it again. I'll put it somewhere. Out of the way. Oh, here it is. All the way up here. Right, so we want a piece of this. Oh, I've broken it. Never mind. So we want that to go across there. Okay, move this over here a second. And we'll attach this. Now I'm going to have to move these down a little bit from the other one because the house is a bit bigger on this one. So put this here, turn it over, hold it down, add some tear and tape, we go. And some more. Yeah, oops, that's a lot. Never mind. So there. Just cut that off. Use that again. There we go. So that's there ready. So we've got that ready to go. We're going to add another strip of this pink. So I'm going to tear. Actually, I just don't need to tear another piece. I'm going to put this, just cut a piece of this across here, trim that down. I want this one to be narrower, which is fine because I'm going to turn it over because I want the lighter side, so I'm going to start tearing this. You need to tear it towards you to have the white showing, so I'm just going to tear this again. There we go. So I've got my piece to go across the bottom. So you might do it that way this time. So put some glue on the back of this, if I can get any out. There we are. So put that on there like that. Better to try and do it before we stick it onto the card. Trim that off. Again, there we are. So that's now can go on there with some dimensionals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So we take the backs off, add it to the card base. Did I do that? Yeah, I did. So that's all of the backs off, that way round, and centre it as much as possible. There we go. Get rid of these. Whoops. Add some dimensionals to this one. 1, 2, 3. And I'm not adding the house to this one yet. Just give me a moment, because, whoops, that's going to go around about there, and then the house can go behind it. So some dimensionals, 1 up there, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And that can slip under there like that. And then we've got our little sprigs. So we'll put some, might just cut the ends off that because I don't want too much. And some glue dots. Here they are. So 1 on which side? This side. There. This one can go at the, on first, so it'll be at the back. And I can come down some one on here. There we go. Take the back off and add that there. So I might not have any holly, but I think that looks quite nice too. And then I haven't got pink dots. I could colour these mini iridescent dots with some of the, actually I might show you how I did that. I'll use the dark Pretty in Pink for this one, because then they look a similar sort of size to the ones that we've used already. So I'll use the dark Pretty in Pink because the colour isn't as dark when you colour something in. You can't see it as well. So this is how you just use some of the alcohol ink pens, and they help to colour your dots. So if you've got something that's not coloured, I could use, maybe the Summer Splash would be better, it'll come out better. So try it with Summer Splash, that's better, because that's more like the sort of colour, ish. Maybe, we'll see. So those are the dots, and I'll use those in a second. And we'll put a section of 3 of these together on here. 1, 2, and they should stay iridescent as well, which is nice once they're dried. Oops. Ah, there you go on. So we've got a little collection of 3 there. So could have used the other ones, but those look quite nice as well. So that's how you use your alcohol ink pens. It won't work with your felt pens because they take too long to dry. But if you use your alcohol pens, you can do that with them. So that is my second card. How are we doing? Oh, we're a bit over today. Maybe we'll just leave that one for now, and we'll just do so we've got 3 of those. So you've got your original one from the kit, this one which is stepped up a little bit, and then this one as well. So I think we better leave these cards as they are now. Hopefully I'll be able to come back again next week, and I'll use some more things up from the kit, and I'll show you some more bits and pieces and some more cards that I've made from the items from the kit. Right, I'm sorry to have kept you so long. I hope you've enjoyed watching the alternatives that I've made so far. Next week I will do another one of these, but stepped it up slightly. I'm going to use green, I think, behind it, or I think actually it might be nice to use one of the insides of the cards, so you've got the stars at the top, and I might put that behind there. So that will be for next week, and we'll use this, and then we'll make some extra ones as well if I've got time next week. So those are the cards for this week, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll come back again next week, and you'll join me again next week. Probably won't be Saturday next week, it'll probably be on Friday again, hopefully. So I'll hopefully join you again on Friday evening. Okay, thanks very much for joining me. If you are interested in this kit, or you wanted any of the products that I've used, I'll try and make sure I list what I've used below. But if you've got anything that you wanted to use from your own stash, that will be just as good as well. Okay, I'll put a link to my online shop if you needed anything. So if you're from the UK or Europe or Ireland, you'll be able to use, you can buy anything from my online shop. Otherwise, you can find somebody in your area that you live in, and you can use a demonstrator from that area to buy your products from. Thanks very much for joining me, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.